God damn. I treat this car good. I get it washed yesterday. I do all these things for it. Treat it so nice. And this is how it repays me. It's Monday morning. It's like 10 to 8. I literally just watched a battery bar drop off of my Leaf. Not real happy about it. I was pretty happy with 11 bars, but with 10 and 21,000, almost 22,000 miles, not really happy about that. So, yep, that's what happened. I lost another battery bar today. Driving this morning, minding my own business, enjoying my typical daily drive, and right as I glance down, there goes the battery bar. My 2013 Leaf down to 10 battery bars. Not really sure how I feel about it overall, to be honest with you. I've read of people being like really sad and distraught when their battery bars drop, and I mean, I really did have a really negative reaction to it this morning. It didn't sit well with me. I freaked out a little bit. I felt like I was on a cliff and I was going to jump off. Here you can see my Reddit post that I made. The degradation isn't going to affect my drive much. I'm still getting basically the same distance that I have been. There's no real change. Obviously, it's not like it, fell that much overnight. And, I've basically been driving it this way for a while, so no real change there. Just a shocking thing to see, especially when you aren't expecting it or looking forward to it. So let's talk about that warranty, the battery warranty in the Leaf. This is a 2013. Essentially, I've got a couple months left on the warranty. If it's not going to drop 2 more bars in a couple of months. Otherwise, they would replace the battery. The newer ones have sort of the longer, they've got the better battery. 90,000 mile, I think, 90,000 mile warranty, I think, on the battery life. I think this one's 60,000 and essentially, like 36 months or something like that, 3 years. So yeah, it's kind of a bummer that, once that second one drops, you do kind of want to rush to have the battery degrade and get a new car, basically, for the price you paid for a used one. But I'm realistic. I know that's not going to happen. And like I said, I'm more than okay with the battery bar dropping, so it's not a huge issue for me right now. Let's cover the facts real quick. I got a 2013 Leaf. It's got just under 22,000 miles on it, and I just lost my second bar. I think it's a little excessive, honestly, but I'm guessing that it's got the old battery in it, the not Lizard battery or whatever. I think most of the 2013s don't have the new battery. And it's lived its whole life in Texas, so I'm sure the heat is a major player in the battery life here. As we're getting closer to summer, I'm sure I'll start to worry about it more. It was a shock this morning, and it is a problem. Like when you have to think about what the battery life is and what you're going to do, you start worrying about things. But I don't know. I guess it's not that big a deal. Like I said, it's driving the same as it has been for me the whole time, so I guess I have to be fine with it. It's definitely a little heartbreaking to see it drop, that's for sure. But we're going to keep on moving. My typical daily drive is not going to be affected by the loss of range. I've been kind of watching it on this trip, and since it just dropped today, it is starting to show the numbers going down a little bit, but I'm not too concerned about it. It's not going to affect my overall drive. And, overall, it's just more of a shock to the system, especially after just buying it and thinking we were good to go with 11 bars instead of 12. But, I mean, let's be realistic. I know I'm in Texas. I know the issues that the battery has. There were plenty of 2013 Leafs available that only had 10 bars when I was looking. So I guess just seeing it drop on its own and not buying it that way is the first real shock there. But degradation is a part of battery life, and it's something that I guess I have to deal with. But, man, it'd be sweet to get that new battery, though, wouldn't it? Man. If you aren't familiar with what it is I'm talking about, the essentially the battery indicator on the Leaf has a 12 bar, some people would say 10 bar plus 2 extra, but I mean, that's 12, don't be silly. It's got a 12 bar battery life indicator that shows you how much of your battery has degraded. So essentially, if you buy a new Leaf, it's going to have 12 bars, which tells you that your battery is new and that, you know, it's perfectly fine. As the battery degrades, those bars go away. So, I guess I can look up the number. It'll probably pop up on the screen right here, I guess. But, you know, essentially you lose whatever 6 point something percent battery. It degrades 6 point whatever percent, and you lose that bar. So losing 2 bars essentially means that the battery has degraded 12%. So you've lost some, you know, percentage of 80 miles in a 2013, basically. Whatever it amounts to is negligible for my drive, and for the way I'm using the car. But, you know, still, it's a pretty significant loss in terms of, you know, lifetime of the car and what have you. You know, it's not a matter of, am I charging it to 100 versus 80? Although now, I gotta be honest, you know, the minute that bar dropped, I immediately started thinking that I should probably start charging it to 80 again instead of 100. I got the car washed yesterday, so had to wash the Leaf today. Got some of the vinyl off and the old CarMax logo, and thinking about debadging the whole thing. That's another one. If you like the idea of that, you should probably let me know in the comments. I'd like to make this thing look really, really cool, but I don't know. I think it looks cool on its own. Anyway, it looks great clean, and it's little, so it's pretty easy to clean with a wand. So. Nice clean car. I got the car washed yesterday, so of course my thought is, oh God, is there water in the battery? Is it freaking out? You know, the car's got 22,000 miles on it. What is happening that it's this low? But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I live in Texas, so. The other funny one for me is that, you know, I just made the video about my first month with the Leaf, and I wonder how my reaction in that video changes if that bar drops before I make that video. I can't help but think about that. Have my feelings about the car changed in a day because of the bar dropping? No. Like I said, I was a little, you know, I was a little crushed this morning, a little heartbroken. But, you know, overall, I'm fine with it. You know, it's just, I guess it's part of owning an electric car, and it's not something that I'm familiar with. It's not, you know, an emotion I've ever had to experience. It doesn't happen with combustion engine cars. So, you know, it's a weird feeling. I'm gonna jump out in front of this car real fast. But yeah, so that's where we're at. You know, nothing I did it, so it's part of the deal. I'm good with it. It seems to me like I'm still over 70 miles per full charge on the battery. So the question I think a lot of people would ask based on the battery going down is resale value. And, you know, resale value on an electric car is an interesting question anyway. You know, once you drive it off the lot, it loses that value like any other car. But you also have that added issue of battery life and that degradation. So, you know, that basically a 2013 Leaf, you know, you're paying depending on the features and the life of the battery, you're paying what, $8,500 to $11,000 basically for a 2013 Leaf. So the question is the resale value affected by that battery bar dropping down? Well, I mean, sure it is. First, it's affected by, if you know an electric car, you know, you're going to question that bar being gone. My assumption is that if you're living in the same place where I am and you want an electric car, you're going to be a little bit aware of how the weather affects it. But I mean, I think the realistic thing is that I really don't think dealerships and the average car buyer have any idea what that bar means. Now, Nissan dealership's probably going to know and be able to, you know, make a better judgment call on it than, say, a CarMax. But I think that, you know, realistically, a CarMax is probably not going to know as much about what that bar means compared to another dealer. So I'm not